So yesterday at the opening of the letter to the Galatians, we hear of St. Paul's humility, that in this greatness that he received divine revelation infused into his soul. He warned the community that, but what if I, or even an angel, started to tell you of a different gospel than one I've already preached to you that was given to me? Then you need to not listen to me. Because it's not about me. It's about the truth, the true gospel message. We now hear of how that happened, how that played out. And notice again the humility, the humanness of this great St. Paul. He says, I did not immediately consult flesh and blood, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me. Rather, I went into Arabia and then returned to Damascus. Then after 3 years, you get divine information infused into your intellect. You think it'll take a little while to process all that? That's what some scholars believe was happening. He had to process what God gave him. He had to somehow try to figure out what it all meant and compare that to what he learned as one of the most learned Jewish folks of his time. And then, recognizing that Jesus founded a church and was his body, he went to the head of that church. It says, I went up to Jerusalem to confer with Cephas, that's Peter's name in a different language, and remained with him for 15 days. So from 3 years of trying to flesh out what God gave him, to spending 2 weeks with the Pope conferring. It's like, okay, does this all make sense? Am I getting this? Is this right? Does this sound good? And then, in a sense, he was introduced to the rest of the church who hadn't met him. Most of them didn't know what he looked like. Anyone who did know ended up dead. Because beforehand, that's what he was doing. He was going out, arresting, and sometimes killing, or having killed those who followed Jesus before his conversion. And so they got to meet him. They only heard that the one who was persecuting the church is now on her side. Imagine what meeting that person would have been like. I don't know if we have an equal today. You could maybe say, imagine if the leader of North Korea was going to make a visit because he wanted to repent. He's now on our side. He believes in liberty. Focus on St. Paul's 3 years away. Because that's what our gospel seems to mention. Mary chose the better part. To be in silence, contemplating, sitting at the feet of Jesus, listening to Jesus. St. Paul did that. He heard from Jesus, got knocked down in order to do it, and then went away for 3 years. What areas in your life have you had a conversion, a change of heart? Allow yourself to be patient with a new life now, your paradigm shift that any sort of conversion, no matter how small or large, whatever, how many small part of your life or the entire part of your life it takes. Be patient with yourself. Sitting at the feet of Jesus, listening. Okay, Lord, what does this mean? as you capture my heart little by little, or oh so greatly. How now am I to continue to respond to you? What should my life look like now? That I continue to give myself over to you. It's hard to know what to do if we're not listening to the one who knows what we are to do. And to listen to how Jesus responds to Martha. You are anxious and worried about many things. There's a difference between getting the work done, being hospitable, and being anxious and worried about it. If getting work done takes away our peace, maybe we need.